2022 summer trials review. So doing this for another year where Jamie and I get to spend an hour with you all going over our varieties, our new varieties performance across the country and into Canada, all of North America, and see how it performed, and give you some of the inside scoop, and I don't know, maybe a few jokes, right? Yeah,
Little humor today. Yes, you have to have that.
Yeah, so I'm Carlson. I'm the technical manager for Syngenta Flowers.
And I'm Jamie Gibson, technical lead for Flowers.
All right, so we definitely have got to start this off with a big thank you to all of our trialing partners, because literally without you all growing these, we wouldn't be able to have this webinar. So we really appreciate all the effort that goes into making sure that all these open houses and variety days and university trials happen very nicely.
Yeah, especially this summer, holding a clipboard in 90-degree weather, scoring all these flowers. We're indebted to you, so thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, so here is where all those trialing sites are.
Right. Well, close to 25 trialing sites. On the website, we have 18 specific sites, but we've also tapped into other locations to get the data to see how these plants performed across the North America.
And so, we're doing this webinar now live, and it will be recorded for viewing later. But at any time, you can also take a digital tour on our website. Our awesome Marcom team and all of our Syngenta colleagues that have been out visiting all of these trials and collecting photos, and the trial sites who have created videos to support their trials are on our trials website. So definitely check that out at any time. And we also have previous years data on the website too. So that's an awesome resource.
Yeah, great tools to check back in on how those plants performed. Our staff, our product managers, our technical reps, our sales team, they are where you are. And so getting the right relevant plant materials in by region is our goal.
Yep.
So yeah, let's start right off the bat with an amazing Interspecific Begonia. The series is called Bionic. We have 4 colors. There are 2 bronze leaf colors and 2 green leaf colors, a red on both color tones. And then we have a rose on the bronze and a pink with the green leaf. This is a little larger vigor than our top hat, which is the first Interspecific Begonia to flower in production. And Bionic has just incredible branching. So we're going to take a look at some of the garden performance. And right off the bat in South Florida, Costa's season premiere had some amazing Bionics in the ground beds there. And then as we get into the June period, the Bionics there in shade and in sun. So in containers and in the garden raised beds there in Metrolina at Huntersville, North Carolina, performing very well, both shade and full sun. We also like to evaluate a lot of our seed varieties at Rakers, Roberta Rakers, and doing very well in those containers there in central southern Michigan. So great performance right off the bat. And then as we get into the really heat of the summer, into those July sweltering days, the mid-Atlantic, as well as the Midwest, so Michigan State, Cornell, our university partners, had some really nice data. And so from a performance standpoint at Penn State, the Bionics had a 4.6 collectively out of 5. And Cornell, we had a 4.9 to 5 out of 5 over the course of the summer. And as the summer got longer, the plants just even got better. And so that's just showing you the long-term garden performance of this Interspecific Begonia. Another side note, the best ground begonia was Bionic Green Leaf Rose there at Colorado State University. So we thank our university partners for this tremendous data.
Some very high accolades there.
Yeah, and just one final note about Bionic. You know, there's a lot of interspecific begonias on the marketplace, bigs and megawatts and whoppers, dragon wings, Vikings. One of the things that our technical trialing team does is investigate and do comparison trials. And one of the things that the team did there in Gilroy is to look at the flower color and the leaf tone comparisons. And actually, they got naked. You know, I'm not the trialing team, not the trialing,
The plants.
the plants. So,
Plants.
so they stripped off
We
all
can't
the
talk
leaves.
about Mary Lewis like that.
That's right.
She did a good job with this.
Yes. Great job, Mary, removing all the foliage and then evaluating the number of breaks. And when the data came through upon comparison, 61% more branching than some of these leading interspecific begonias. So we're really delighted about Bionic. Great interspecific begonia, a little more vigor than the top hats, and outstanding garden performance.
Yeah, and still extremely large flowers. Definitely still have that flower size message. All right, so moving on to Beehive Pentas. So another seed introduction for this year. First, you know, and only, the one and only spreading pentas from seed. Jamie, I remember when we saw this like years ago in trialing, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Just that habit on it is amazing. It's very easy to grow. The branching comes naturally. You don't have to like pinch it like 20 times to get it to branch. And it's really nice in combinations, and especially those heat loving combinations. You know, it's a pentas. So super excited about this. And we saw some really great performance for it. So, you know, starting early in the year, week 10 at Costa in the garden beds, looked really great. So, you know, a lot of the photos that we have for its performance are in the ground, but it's amazing in containers and hanging baskets as well. So, you know, really kind of one of those varieties you can use, you know, just like Bionic, in the ground and in containers. And then here's some photos from Pure Beauty on the left and from Young's on the right, both week 23. So it's, you know, nice to see that flower power and that amazing branching and filling and just robustness that this pentas from seed has. Incredibly durable. And in fact, the Young's team, led by Penny Merritt Price, their team rated the Beehive White a 4.4 out of 5 over the course of the summer. So that just showed you, and it has been extremely hot there in the Opelika, Auburn area, and the performance of these plants really shows. Yeah, it's tremendous. Okay, switching gears. We're so excited now to give the XDR acronym to the Cora Cascade. And because it's XDR, it's been validated by third-party pathologists, introducing the pathogen aerial Phytophthora to the plants in field and lab settings. So this is best-in-class genetics, great plant, season extender, 10-inch hanging basket, cascading performance and habit. We've added a few colors to the series with the XDR, one being punch. So this is that really nice red alternative. And then we also have improved the white. Not only is Cora XDR Cascades great for hanging baskets and large deck planters, but also ground settings. So this is just showing you the performance there in the south at Young's, and nice spreading habits spilling over these rock walls and display gardens. So it just can't be solely used for the container. Think about it for ground beds. And then when you think about the abuse, it really is abuse, right? Texas, we love Texas, but man, you guys really like to put the heat on plants. Some of our colleagues who live there every day, they were saying it was well over 110 degrees. And I think one of the days it reached almost 117 degrees at this trial site. And these Cora Cascades really perform well, just durable, tough plants. And again, aerial Phytophthora resistance with high resistance. All right, Zydeco. So kind of keeping with our seed intros here, Zydeco is we're super excited about Zydeco, and we got a lot of pictures from trials because I mean it's just that good. What we are so excited about with Zydeco is that it is a Zinnia marilandica, and that confers that disease resistance to powdery mildew that species of Zinnia has. But our amazing breeder, Todd Perkins, put like an elegance type flower on that marilandica body. So we've got like fully double flowers, like big honking things. It's awesome. So 25% larger than the competition, and that disease resistance, just prime. 4 colors, 4 key colors. You know, Jamie, I get a lot of questions about what the heck is Zydeco mean? Like, why do we call it that?
Well, fortunately, my next door neighbor is from Louisiana, and this is just beautiful, fun music, the culture, the Cajun culture. And I think you have a little bit of tone here. You're going to play a little music for us, just to give us a little flavor to the presentation.
Right. Yeah. So this is Zydeco music, and I think, you know, I would encourage you all. You know, I mean, it's not the weekend yet, but you know, we're getting close. So, you know, maybe incorporate a little bit of Zydeco music in your weekend shenanigans. Here we go.
This definitely takes me back to some good times with shrimp boils. So get your corn, get your onions, get your crawfish, your crawdads, your spices, and just have a really good time. And if you get a chance, take a look at the one great radio station that's down there right outside of Baton Rouge, K-Bon Radio, K-BON 101.1. Outstanding Cajun music that you will love, and you will love to stream on your computer or any kind of electronic device.
Yeah. So, you know, I think this is a great retail idea. You got a bunch of Zydecos there, play some music, draw people in. You're selling zinnias like crazy. Okay, so that's Zydeco music, and that's why we call it Zydeco, because it's fun and awesome and colorful. And another reason why we're really excited about Zydeco is because we won the Reader's Choice Award, which means a lot more people than just us are excited about Zydeco. So this was really an honor to get this. The Reader's Choice Award from Greenhouse Grower for Zydeco at Cultivate this year. So we're really proud of that, and you know, thank everyone who was part of voting for that for us. All right, so some trial performance here. So this was pretty cool to see. You know, we talked about the Marilandica genetics having that powdery mildew resistance. So it was really cool to see these plants at Sawaya, the Sawaya trials in Ontario, Canada this year. So this is week 29, headed up there with our Canadian sales representative, Mr. Terry Talsma, and spent some time with Mel Sawaya, checking out all the new varieties, and you know, noticed just a stark difference between an elegance type, which, I mean, we love them for their beautiful flowers and, you know, their vigor and everything, but they still don't have that powdery mildew resistance. So you can see that on the plant on the left, but then on the right is Zydeco deep yellow, and there wasn't a spot of powdery mildew on it. And you can see the comparison of, you know, the flower quality, the flower power, and then that additional disease resistance. I mean, just this is one of the reasons why we're excited. And then just an overview shot there at Sawaya as well, of our white and the deep yellow and cherry. So just really loving this series and how all the colors fit together. Then we've got some photos here from Young's week 23 in the garden bed. So all the beautiful colors really performing really well there in the heat. Just loving that, the heat and the long days, and then a nice mix there. I really like seeing Zydeco in mixes like that in containers. I think that's a really good use of that plant habit and that flower power.
Yeah, good opportunities for both spring and for late summer into early fall combos with these color offerings.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we've got some photos here from the University of Minnesota. So just, I don't know, just really highlights. I love seeing like the fully double, like big flowers on Zydeco. Great coloration, you know, really, you know, holding up to the conditions here throughout the summer.
And it won an award at the University of Minnesota
right.
in Morris. And this is basically one of the top 10 winners in their gardens. So we were very appreciative of Esther Jordan and team's data showing the performance of Zydeco there in Minnesota.
Yes, thank you. All right, and then we've got a couple photos here from Landscape Ontario of Zydeco deep yellow, just covered in color, and then also at Cornell. And Jamie, I really liked this photo of the one from Cornell because we've got, you know, Zydeco in the front, but then there's a different elegance type in the back there. And the flower quality on Zydeco, even though it's two different, you know, species, there's the doubleness and the big flowers. It still holds its own, even like right next to an elegance type.
And this is pretty late in the summer, so later into July, and just performing well. So it received collectively a rating of 4.9 out of 5 there at Cornell.
We'll just call it 5, right?
Might as
Round
well.
up, yeah. All right, and like I said, we got a lot of photos of Zydeco because we're super excited about it. Michigan State University, so week 28, and again, just like these nice color borders of zinnias, full of flowers, fully double, just covered in color. I mean, doesn't get much better than that.
4.8 to 5 out of 5 in August. Deidre McGrath there at in Lansing. So thank you for this wonderful data.
Yeah, and also, you know, Jamie, did you know that zinnias are facultative short day plants?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Of course you did. Yeah. So that was just an excuse for me to bring up photo period because you'll know how much I love photo period. So just a fun fact, because Zydeco was bred to be more fully double, and that was like a specific thing that our breeder Todd was focusing on, even under short days when most zinnias tend to go like single flowered and like way more open centers, Zydeco, even under short days, will have more double flowers than the competition.
That's a great point. So for those folks doing production early spring as well for zinnias in the marketplace, seriously consider zinnia as that zinnia of choice for quartz and other large packs for that early window in spring.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're moving on to our exciting vegetative introduction in series. So, you know, the Zydeco on the seed side, but Vandalista being our vegetative lantana. Yes, another series in lantana, right?
Just all the bands. We're just, you know, we're keeping at Syngenta, we keep with the theme and we go with it, and we are all in. So with our banditos, our bandanas, our bandoleros, our bandalistas. Did you know, okay, insider secret, y'all, our next series of lantana is going to be banderas, and it's going to be sponsored by
Antonio Banderas. So
yes.
we're working to get that contract signed. So. But yeah, Vandalista, awesome plant. We also have a new term in Syngenta that we describe the form of Vandalista, and that's called sprounding. So when you take spreading and mounding, you put them together, you get a new term. So thank you, Amy Briggs-Maka, for your wonderful terminology. Fast to fill. This has won quite a few awards. The best ground lantana in Vandalista Mango, the best container lantana in Vandalista Pineapple, and another outstanding lantana in the Colorado State Gardens, the Red Chili. And so this is focused on sterility. So there's 3 out of the 4 varieties are sterile selections, fast to finish. And so here we have that gorgeous shape. So that nice mounded habit, medium to high vigor in these containers there at Lucas Greenhouses. Also, we're seeing some performance across areas of the Midwest and from the northern plains all the way down to Texas. And it's always great to see when you have a plant with that many flags in it, you know you've got a winner.
Yep.
So here we have it, Texas A&M really performing well, nice, dark, rich red flowers of that Vandalista. Also, another award that it won at the Plant Peddler Trials in early August. It was #3 overall, #3 out of 25 plants in sequence. So Vandalista Red Chili was received that award for its nice shape and its color and its garden performance.
Yeah, and that wasn't just #3 like in Lantana or like #3, like that was #3 out of everything that Mike Gooder and his team had there at Plant Peddler. So
yeah,
that's pretty awesome.
A few other ones that received the top 10 within top 10, Itsy White Petunia and Begonia Florencio Orange. So if you get a chance, take a look at that Florencio series, a really nice landscape begonia, but great for hanging baskets. And so we talk a lot about Vandalista and Bandolero being these northern niches for the container and basket, just faster fill than say a bandana, but also consider the southern landscape. So for southern growers, you can see that it produces a very nice, well-shaped habit here in South Florida. So here we have it in sequence there in those raised beds there at Costa Color. And just again, showing you its rapid fill, its full expansion, its body, compared to another one of our great reds, right? Hot Blooded, been out there for a while, performing well, great red, Red Chili giving us a great red. We also have a Bandana Black Cherry now. So lots of reds coming in the Syngenta portfolio. You know, Hot Blooded, nice and tidy, great for the 6-inch pot, quart pot, 10-inch hanging basket. This Vandalista Red Chili gives you some other options for reds.
Yeah, you can just kind of see with the Vandalistas, there's like a little more spill over the edge there. It's like a little bit like looser habit, you know, which makes it perfect for those hanging baskets. Whereas with Hot Blooded, like Jamie said, it's a little tighter and just a little more controlled. So, you know, great for containers and those other applications.
Okay, so moving from Vandalista, now we have Bandolero, a new addition to the Bandolero series. This is the upright, medium vigor, positioned more for the northern grower that needs a little more uptick in vigor. But this is Bandolero Leychee or Lychee. And we have a lot of great fruit names. What an awesome name for this one. Beautiful fuchsia pink colors that fill the container. And also, if you are looking at the Vandalista series, bringing Bandolero Leychee into the series as that pink alternative for the series match across baskets and containers might be a good strategy. Here it is in Costa Color there in the raised beds there around season premiere. And this is why we talk about the vigor of Bandolero. Bandolero is kind of in between the Bandito Gold on the left, and then you have the Bandana White Improved in the background. So here you can see it's got some pretty good horsepower. Great for all types of landscapes and grower programs. The other great thing about this lychee color is the deepening of the tones, especially when the night temperatures get a little cooler, right? It really sharpens out and its brilliance comes out. And just keep in mind, Lantana are not just this summer plant. Great for early fall, matching it with other things like Rudbeckias and fountain grasses and even garden mums for color displays for the garden center.
Yeah, I really like how the color tones are a little different in the Lantanas, and they, you know, change depending on where you are on the globe and, you know, what climate conditions they're experiencing. They're just very dynamic plants, a whole lot of fun. And also, little side note, on our Syngenta Flowers website, particularly our YouTube page, this summer at Lucas, I made a video that is Syngenta Lantana 101. So if you want to learn about why we have so many bands, and how to use each one of them, definitely check out that video. So that's a really great resource. All right, so moving on to another vegetative introduction for us for this past season, Caldera, Interspecific Geranium. So this lavender glow adds to the 3 varieties that we had already, the pink and salmon and red. But we are loving Caldera because, and it's a really great name, because the volcano caldera message, the metaphor there, we really love that in Syngenta, those metaphors really translates. So the kind of like spreading, filling habit of it, but then also the heat tolerance, you know, like our ever loved caliente geraniums, but it's got a spreading habit. So great summer performance, which we have lots of great photos to show that, and is really good landscape and baskets and in mixes. So very, very versatile. So here's a nice, you know, pretty artistic shot that shows really what that lavender glow color means. So it's nice because it's got some like lighter tones of lavender and some darker tones. So it really does look like it's glowing, which is very, very pretty and dynamic, and especially against that dark colored foliage. So
yeah, and from a production standpoint, very rarely would you ever see any type of top chlorosis or edema or any type of struggle that it may have in high heat and high humidity.
Exactly. So here's some performance at Michigan State. So in the ground here, you know, you're seeing some of the spread that it gets, but full of flowers. So, you know, even though they're single flowers, there's tons of them, and they hold up really well and last for a long time. And lots of buds coming on these too.
4.5 to 4.8 out of 5. So I know our product manager, Matt Blanchard, from his alma mater, Michigan State, was very delighted with the performance of Caldera.
All right, and then here's some photos from University of Minnesota. So in containers, so we've got the new lavender glow, but then our Caldera salmon at Welby. So just, you know, showing also that performance of the varieties that aren't new for this year that really matches with the lavender glow and that performance and like coverage of color. And then here they are in the landscape and ground beds. So it's nice to see how they're kind of, you know, filling in with each other and really making like a carpet of geranium color. You know, it's just very aesthetically pleasing to look at that and how it fills. So there's salmon and pink.
Doing very well here at Colorado State University. And, you know, you think this is good, Allison? Well, the best interspecific geranium in the ground was actually a caliente coral salmon. So don't forget about caliente and its performance as well.
Yeah, still loving those.
That's the big,
yeah. I mean, when it's hot, this is what's up. We got some of the best heat tolerant geraniums in the Syngenta assortment, like in the industry. So if you got heat, we got a geranium for you. And then here's some more performance at Mass Young Plants and at Texas A&M. So at Mass, there in those beautiful beds, you know, I love it when plants start trailing over the edge of like rock walls and stuff. So it's nice to see how, you know, with that little bit of like trailing prostrate habit that Caldera has, that it's starting to inch over the edge there. And then in Texas, like Jamie said, it's been freaking hot in Texas, like ridiculously hot. And I cropped out this photo. Maybe I shouldn't have cropped it so much, but like around the other edge of this garden bed are some other geraniums, Jamie, that were not thriving like Caldera was. And so I think that's a huge testament to how these plants were performing at the Dallas Arboretum.
Yeah, it is really a sleeper series, and we encourage everyone to give this one a try, especially for season extender, using it in combos and containers, just that element of of cascading, but then the garden performance as well.
Yeah. And then we'll finish out Caldera here with this beautiful hanging basket. Jamie, you know what I like to call these?
You probably have some kind of acronym.
Definitely. I mean, you know, it's Syngenta. We love our acronyms.
That's
So
right, yeah.
I call this BFBs.
Ooh, BF.
Big floriferous baskets.
Ah, the F, floriferous. Yes.
So, you know, this is Caldera salmon at our awesome breeding facility in Gilroy, California. And these were started like around cast time. And this is a 24-inch hanging basket that this plant has just filled and like flowed over. So, you know, it's really cool to see that, like, it's kind of like magma, I don't know, keeping with the Caldera theme here, liquid hot magma.
Yes.
We might be aging ourselves there, but that's okay. It's fun. I mean, Austin Powers.
And for those folks that are in the municipal planning and street presentations of large hanging baskets, seriously consider the Caldera series for that long season performance in large containers, large baskets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, loving that highlight. He just covered in flowers. It's insane. So keeping with our interspecific geranium with kind of that sprouting habit, where we've added a calliope to our beloved calliope series. So now we have a different habit, a cascading habit with calliope cascade. So still that intense color and that amazing performance, but this, you know, teases over the edge of containers and has that cascading habit. Love this violet. And another BFB.
Oh yeah.
All right, so we got another BFB here. Again at Gilroy. So these were started for cast, and we kept them all through the spring and into the summer. And these photos were from week 33, and they're just, again, it's a 24-inch hanging basket, and they are just, you can't even see the hanging basket anymore. Just amazing growth and habit, and always has buds coming on Calliope Cascade.
Yeah, I typically say it has smaller umbels, but lots of flowers with a Calliope Cascade violet.
Yeah. And you can kind of see that here. So here's Plant Peddler from our week 31 visit, and you can see, you know, the habit, you know, spilling over, covered in flowers, but then there's like a whole bunch of buds coming up behind that. So it's like always in flower, like it's always got something coming.
And this made number 24 out of 25 on the Plant Peddler list for awards.
Awesome. The Plant Peddler did an amazing job with all the geraniums. Well, all of the plants they had there really, but the geraniums were like spot on. And then here is from the University of Minnesota and Michigan State. Just, you know, just very consistent performance here, covered in color, lots of buds, great green foliage. I love the contrast of like this shade of green with that violet. Like, I think it's very complementary.
Yep, 4.5 out of 5 at Michigan State.
Nice, excellent. All right, and then here's another one of those photos where it's like teasing over the edge of the garden bed. Just love that. So here's at Costa, it was doing that, covered in color, lots of buds. And then at Colorado State University. So just really showing that landscape performance that it has, even though it makes a really good BFB.
That's right.
It's great in the landscape as well.
Good for the ground. And a lot of folks ask us, are there more coming in the pipeline? We are working continuously to look at this profile, but right now there is another variety that you could potentially put into containers, large baskets. The large Calliope white has a very similar habit to the Cascade, Calliope Cascade violet.
Yeah, it's good pro tip.
Okay, mantra, however you want to say it, tomato. This is also where, if we're going to be the leader in geraniums worldwide, well, we better have all of our profiles built. And so this high vigor, dark foliage, interspecific geranium fills that space. And so this is mantra. There are 3 colors, bright red, magenta, and pink. And I think it's a great name, mantra. I mean, Allison, what is your mantra?
Oh, what's my mantra? Well, recently it's been take your day hour by hour. No, but for me, I don't know. It is what it is. I don't know. My colleagues know that I say that a lot. Just kind of, it is what it is.
Mine is used to be work hard, play hard, but the play just doesn't happen much anymore just because I'm kind of exhausted. But I would say right now, my mantra is if you're going to aim small, you're going to miss small. So always set your goals big and really get out there and achieve greatness.
That's good. That's good, Jamie. I like that. I like that.
So mantra, 3 colors, large upright growth, perfect for that container, that gallon container and large container. And its performance in several of the trials show you that robust look. Big, large umbels. Here it is on the right-hand side at our Gilroy facility, handling every bit of 90, 95, 98 degree intensive heat with really nice displays of flowers. And one note about the mantra Magenta comes in a little early, maybe 3 to 5 days earlier, and it has a little less vigor compared to the pink and the bright red. So really nice, well-matched series. And I think if you're used to the Rocky Mountain series from a zonal perspective, I think you're really going to love the mantra series.
Yeah, I agree. No, I like the heat tolerance that has and just that nice dark green foliage with the bright flowers. All right, so moving on to some pentas. So, earlier we talked about our Beehive pentas from seed that has a cascading habit. Well, this is our star cluster Cascade, which has that sprouting habit, but it's from a vegetative cutting. So we've got 4 colors in this new series that replaces our Falling Star series. If you're familiar with that, this is our replacer for Falling Star, and it's a very nice improvement with these really large flowers. So a bit of some like technical messaging here, because we've been hearing this a lot, like people who are very familiar with Falling Star, the habit and kind of the personality.
Right. Personality.
Have personality.
Yeah, that's right.
Is different for Star Cluster Cascade than it is Falling Star. So in these photos, you can see Falling Star, our old Falling Star is on the left, and our new Star Cluster Cascade is on the right. So you already noticed, like kind of at this stage of finish, the plant habit is a little more upright for our Star Cluster Cascade. Then the Falling Stars are really more like open and falling over. But they're still covering the edge of that container, but this makes them so much easier to ship when there's not, all of those flowers really hanging over the edge. So there's like a shippability component there, but then also there's a lot more color on the top of the plant because of that, the ounding part of sprouting. It fills over the top, and then we've got some photos to show how as the plant matures and fills out, it starts to cascade even more.
Yeah, I would say too, from a propagation standpoint, a much nicer specification, easier to root, more robust foliage, and a shorter propagation time.
100%. Yeah, no, that's a great point. Yeah, so if you've ever had issues, propagating the Falling Stars and getting roots on those, check out the Star Cluster Cascades because they're going to be so much easier. All right, so then I love comparison photos like this. Like, it's awesome because it helps tell the story. So these are some photos from the trial at Lucas Greenhouses. So top photo is week 30. Bottom photo is the exact same plants 7 weeks later. So on the left, we have the upright habit of Star Cluster, and on the right, we have the Cascade habit. So you can see in week 30, they're still very upright, both of them, but the Cascade habit one is like those side laterals are starting to come down over that pot edge a lot more. But then we see 7 weeks later, there's, that extra cascading habit's been like, even more obvious of what the selection was here for that cascade. So I hope that helps clear up, any confusion as to why we call it star cluster cascade. And then here's some performance at Penn State University, week 30 with the pink bicolor, red and white in containers, covered in color, like really big flowers. Want to emphasize that because that's a big improvement over the falling stars as well. It's just these huge flowers.
Yeah, fast to fill. This is not a late July, August crop. This is a late May, June crop because of its now faster fill habit. And so really take a look at this Star Cluster Cascade series, 4.6 to 4.7 out of 5 collectively across months at the Penn State trials there. Okay, let's talk a little bit about petunias, right? We've got to have some petunias going on in our trials. And this is the Mega series. So we have a Mega Purple. Now we have a pink vein and a purple vein. Really large, very large flowers on a vegetative chassis, delivers both container display as well as ground display. And Allison, we've got a not so technical term for what petunia flowers look like after heavy rains.
Yeah, you need a Kleenex.
We basically call it snot, or the goo of that petunia flower after it gets bombarded by rain and high humidity. And the great thing about the megas is we just don't see that in any of the trials. Just really strong performer, big flowers. Here it is there, University of Guelph there at Landscape Ontario, as well as the Sawaya trials there in Canada. Both locations look really amazing, really dynamic, large size flowers there in those containers. And here we have it, really strong flower power display in those raised beds there. Week 10 season premiere down in South Florida. And so you can see on the right-hand side, mixed with other petunias, the petunia palooza, if a bonanza here at Smith Gardens, week 28. So this is pretty much right around cultivate time. And Denise Mullins does an awesome job there at Smith Gardens. Her team, they do these amazing videos. Yeah. We have a link to her videos, her top 5 plants that she has, Syngenta plants at the Smith Gardens. Great displays. And here we have all of our funhouse petunias. We have our Sanguna petunias. We have our megas. We have our Sanguna patio petunias. All did really well. And we were just delighted with the ratings there in the Pacific Northwest. Yeah. Another of the cool funhouse varieties that was launched this year is Peach Melba. Peach Melba has a minimum photo period requirement of 9.5 hours. So if you think about that for a fall flowering petunia, what a perfect fall tone. All the variations of those colors, really deep and rich there at the University of Florida. So funhouse, going to continue to stay fun with unique novelty colors. Yep. Shortcake, we've now introduced a raspberry to go along with the blueberry. Really nice bicolor tone, density, garden performance, both in container and the landscape, and its density stays intact. So really a nice, I hate to use the term meatball, but dense and spreading throughout the garden as a prostrate plant for the landscape, but also for the container, and plays well with others.
It does.
Here we have just the brilliance, just as early August days, cool nights, the color pop of these shortcake raspberries there in Iowa and also Colorado. You know, we were just in Colorado, and Welby supplied some plants for the plug and cutting conference, and those awesome. Those plants looked amazing.
Beautiful
with the displays
Appreciate
there.
That.
And don't forget shortcake blueberry, great plant. It is mixed in with a few other great petunias such as Itsy White, Itsy Magenta. Just, I think all the growers love it. It could be done as a monoculture or in concert with several other species. So with combos, I'll turn it over to you, Allison. You can tell me a little about your favorite quick combos as we kind of wrap up this webinar.
Yeah, so we had several new quick combos for this year, but I'm going to go over some of our favorites. And you know, this, I had to put this in there because Jamie, this is the ultimate BFB.
So this is a UBFB.
The ultimate BFB.
All right.
Yeah. So shout out to Mel Sawaya for this idea of just really, you know, blowing hanging baskets out of the water. This thing is huge. I'm not even really sure like how big it is, but I mean, for those of you who know how vigorous Sunfinity is, I mean, it kind of looks like dwarf compared to how big this basket is. So this was full of decos, various colors of deco. So, and highlighting that, you know, spreading habit that deco has, and then with our Ipomoea in there. So just really cool, really fun. I love how innovative our industry gets. So my ultimate favorite quick combo for this year. All right, so but Deco Daredevil mix that has Deco Banana, Lavender, deep lavender, and Deco White in it. I just love how all the decos play really well together. You know, they have decos known for their landscape performance, but then in quick combos, they just fantastic. I love how these fill, and we saw that in the trials. So at Sawaya again, we had, you know, nice fill there, just beautiful habit. And then in the ground at Young's, you know, all the colors are represented there, and that's just a nice little poof or a meatball, a deco meatball. My second favorite, Island in the Sun mix. So Sanguna banana candy with the deco sorbet and the little blue from the techno. Really just beautiful combination. And here it is at Rakers in a hanging basket. I love how the throat of deco banana gets that like little bit of like pinkish in it, and it really like color echoes the sorbet petunia that's in there, and then the blue just is a nice like complementary color. Love Island in the Sun. And then my final favorite, the Itsy Bitsy mix that has Shortcake blueberry in it that we saw earlier, and then our two favorite Itzy's Magenta and White, and just really play well together, mix well together, which is our whole quick combo thing. You know, we trial it a bunch so that way you all have success with it without the guesswork.
And take a look at that flower shape and the color of the Itsy White. Doesn't it remind you so much of Bacopa? Yeah. And that's where Itsy White just continues to be adopted as that Bacopa use for combos with other species. Yeah. That trailing effect, but also the durability. Right. It can take a few dry downs and still perform very well in the landscape. Yep. In the container.
Good point. And there's some how some of them performed. Sawaya and Young's, great fill. And then here's the lineup of all three of them at Lucas Greenhouses, week 30, how they're filling. And I also there's a video on our Syngenta Flowers YouTube channel for North America, kind of outlining these favorite quick combos too. So you can check that one while you're there.
So if you just Google Syngenta Flowers YouTube, there'll be almost well over 25 videos of our genetics over the past few years.
Oh yeah. Okay. So we're winding down our time here, but like little sneak peek into our new introductions for next season. So adding to the magenta and the white, we have a pink. So super excited to keep expanding this Itsy series, and now have a pink in there. And there's a great quick combo as well.
I'm looking forward to that one. Yes. Yeah. Right. Itsy White, great. Itsy Magenta, awesome. Itsy Pink, outstanding.
Yeah. How does it get better? I don't know. Our amazing breeders. All right. So just a quick reminder, you know, we've got photos and videos and all that stuff on our field trials website. So check that out. And also just in general on our Syngenta Flowers -US, that's an important part, -US.com website. We have tons of technical information from our amazing technical team. So if you need to know something, if you've got questions, head to our website. You can probably find an answer. All right, and another just big thank you to our trialing partners and to all of you all who took the time out today to spend with us. And we've got some time to take any questions that you have, and we'll do our best to give you an answer or make one up. No, just kidding. We don't do that.
Well, we thank everybody for their time today and appreciate your attendance. A lot of information again on the website. The Flowers Trials site has really strong photography of the high performers at each location, region of the country. The catalog re-emphasizes the specific details. A lot of our information is built into our grower success guide, where we have our photo period data, our vigor, our timing. So that information is there. We know that this is the strong booking season, and there's a lot of programs being built, and those tools are there for you to build your spring programs.
Okay, I see some questions that can, well, there's one comment about the Bionic flower size being as big as a business card. Heck yeah, those flower sizes are crazy how big Bionic gets. It's awesome. So thank you for sharing that. And then we got a question about, so our favorite plant from the trial this year. Jamie, what was your favorite plant?
I got to go with the tried and true. My favorite quick combo used to be Blue Lightning. It was a Keep It Simple Scaevola and Lantana duo. Itsy Bitsy Mix now takes my top favorite as a quick combo. It just performs well, and I have it in my gardens, and it just continues to show its balance and its density and strong performance in the garden.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. I'm kind of torn between Zydeco and Vandalista. I don't think I can choose, but those are my top two favorites. Okay, we got another question. Which plant surprised you the most with their performance this year?
Oh, I've got one. We didn't feature it on the webinar today, but I am so impressed with our Bidens. Really nice. We've added 2 new colors to that series, the Brazen series. We always have the Mexican Gold and the Mexican Gold Jumbo for our combos and monoculture, but our Brazen series, we now have almost six colors. We have a few more coming down the pipeline, and they perform so well in the garden and in containers. Dense, flower power, pollinators. I was in love with our Bidens this year.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah, I've actually got some out in my yard that I've actually been pretty impressed by. So I don't know, bring Bidens back. There's our mantra for next year. Oh, and Sam Nobes, our tech scientist out in Gilroy, says that the Calliope and Caldera baskets that we showed in the presentation, they're still out at Gilroy and they still look amazing. Talk about longevity. All right. Well, I think that's what we're going to get. So if everyone's cool, maybe that's where we call it a day.
All the best, folks. Thank you.